Hi everyone, it's Linda from LindaZ in Arlington Heights, Illinois. I'm ready today to show you some of the new things that we're doing with this little machine that's in front of me. We are starting, and actually we've been doing it for a while, but we're really making a big push right now with our eBay store. And this is one of the certified pre-loved machines. It's a Husqvarna Viking Opal 650 in mint condition that will be auctioned off on the eBay store. So if it's something that you're really interested in, go ahead and watch it. It will be listed tomorrow. So those of you that are watching this, I believe you'll get it like tonight when you're seeing it. So maybe tomorrow is when it will really go on. If you happen to see this before it goes on and you want it right away, call the store. Of course, we could do something for you. But what's great about our eBay store is that we have a huge, wonderful workroom of technicians. They're fabulous engineers, and they certify all these machines. So they're in mint condition when you get them. We want you to have a good price, a good bargain, and be able to sew on a machine that's reliable. I'll show you a couple of things on this. This is just a great little box that comes with it. I heard my iron turn off. I'm going to go turn it on because I'm going to show you a couple of things on that in a moment. But look at how great this box is. All the feet, look at, bobbins have never even been used, and look at inside. There's a what they call a automatic censoring buttonhole. There's all the spool caps. There's a darning foot. There's screwdriver, lots of feet that are really important for working with it. This has an open arm, and when I open the cap here, you can see that it's just really a beautiful machine with many stitches on it. Let's see, I can count it, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 8 or 10, well, I know there's 8 for sure buttonholes. I love the kind that you can use your keyhole, which you can use, of course, not just for designing menswear, but you can also use a keyhole, which is a wonderful buttonhole, and extend it and use it for making your own shower curtains. I mean, many little techniques on this machine. I love the little bows on here, and there's little cars, little bicycle, little hearts, some wonderful designs, and of course, if you know much about the Viking sewing machines, they are absolutely beautiful sewing machines that are very good quality and will really give you a wonderful experience in sewing. I would like to share with you, over and above what we're doing with that, a tip about rotary cutting. So let me move over here to the rotary mat. I think that one of the key things to working and doing quilting is that you, as you know, I've said this many times, that you do use good quality tools. Well, in front of me, I have the Quilter Select, and I have the, they're 2 rotary cutters. And I've had quite a few comments lately about, well, why would I use this rotary cutter instead of my old yellow one or whatever kind that you would have, one with the handle? And I wanted to show you. You know, people can always tell you things, but if you can't really see it, I don't think that's going to help. The first thing that I would do, say you have a fat quarter and you're going to want to start cutting it and get a nice sharp edge. That's the first thing you want to do on any of your quilting pieces, is you want to make sure they're cut right. Well, when you've got fat quarters, and you can see with a piece of fabric like this, see all the pleats in there and how it's been pressed in? You don't want to cut something that's like that without pressing it first. If you know anything about batik, you know that batiks are a little heavier than regular cotton. This is a regular cotton fabric. The batik did have, you know, little lines in the middle of it. So when I start ironing, and this is really important for you to know, you see me pressing this, now I can see the steam coming out right. But if it's really gushing out, you don't want to start right away pressing. You want to make sure your iron is held upright, make that steam come out, and then you'll never have any water coming on your garment. I'm very careful when I'm pressing this, as I do not want the steam to stretch this fabric out. I want it to just take away any of the ripples or any of the wrinkles that are in there. And usually I don't even have to turn it all over, but I just want to show you how nicely this turned out. I mean, Look at that beautiful press. And I'm going to go ahead and cut on there. Then I'm going to take the wrinkles out of this piece because you can see this is not something that you would want to cut. You know why? Because it's going to, that little bit of ripple there and there would give you an additional, if you look down here, probably about 1/8 of an inch, and that would completely destroy the accuracy. You may think, oh, 1/8 of an inch, that's nothing, but it really is when you go into cutting your pieces. If you have 1/8 of an inch on one and it's perfect on another, and then if you have, say, 1/4 of an inch you're off on another one, you will never get a squared up quilt, and it will be a real big issue when you start to work on it. The other type of fabric that I have is a denim fabric, and there aren't any ripples or any wrinkles in here, so I'm just going to use this. It happens to be a piece from a garment or something that I've sewn on. I have 2 sizes of the rotary cutter. This is your standard cutter. I don't even know what it's called. I think it's just called standard, and it looks like there's a number on the back of it that might say, no, it's QS. So you do standard and large. And I do own both of them. If you can only do one, of course you want to start with the standard. The reason I get the bigger one too, sometimes it goes a little faster because it's bigger. I know that sounds crazy because it is all 360s, but the circle is a little bit bigger, the wheel. And also this will, it's just a little bit bigger to go through heavier fabric. So when I'm doing a denim, I always would use that. And sometimes, quite frankly, I'll use it on everything. The other thing that I have here is a blade replacement. These, and I'll show you that in a moment, but I wanted to show you how easy it is to replace the blade. Now, when I go to do, I'm going to take one of these Quilter Select rulers, and they are just wonderful rulers if you haven't used them before. I'm going to fold this in half again. Now, this is 4 layers. If you're a beginner, I would not do this, but if you're definitely a pretty seasoned quilter, then you can definitely start with this. And I'm going to go over here and I'm going to line up my straight line on my ruler right here. And what I want to do is I want to get a nice straight edge. And I line up my ruler, as I said, with this little mark up here. And I want the other line to be perfectly straight along this edge. Then and you don't even have to tap. I'm just holding this little button. See this little button right here? I'm holding it in and I just start, and now you can see the blade is now exposed and it's all ready to sew. Now, I mean, all ready to cut. So now watch my hand and watch see what I'm doing? I'm going straight across. I'm not going up like this. Do you see my wrist and my hand? And I'll continue on. Now I went, and then see what I did? I clicked it close. And look at how nicely that piece came off, just immediately. I'm going to do this again because I've got this side squared up. I'll turn it around. I like to start with my fold at the bottom. It's a much better way to, straighten a piece. And say that I'm doing this again. This is pretty straight, but we're going to show you exactly how to cut. And what I'm doing, I like to line up with my ruler, the straight edges of my ruler. I don't like to use the squares on the mat. Sometimes they're not perfect. I mean, you can start with that, but use your ruler for your straight line. And you do not have to hold this button down. I can't tell you how many people have said to me, I really like the rotary cutter, but I have to hold that button down and it gets really tiring. That's not the purpose. The purpose was just to release the blade. So watch now and watch again how my hand is going to go straight like this. It's not going to come up here because that will give you carpal tunnel. It will help those of you that have it. It'll be uncomfortable. If you have rheumatoid arthritis or regular arthritis, you'll have trouble. And watch my left hand. I'm right-handed, so I'm going to hold this finger on the edge of the ruler. And then I'm going to, with these fingers, hold it down tight. There is a little gripping on the back of this ruler, so it's very, very easy to hold it without, you see there's no slipping whatsoever. And you see how I go straight across? 4 layers of fabric. I could actually do 8 and I would not have any trouble. And look at how perfectly even these sides are. Again, I want to emphasize that when I finish, you know, I start with just holding that down just to get that blade open. I don't clunk it down on the mat because that will eventually dull your blade too. And then when I'm finished, I just turn it over and click it, and it's closed. Isn't that easy? Watch again. I'm going to go down, the blade is open, and when I'm finished, I'm just going to turn it over and click, the blade is closed. There isn't anything easier. I want to take this batik that I just pressed and show you again. I can put 4 layers. Now batik is a tougher fabric. It's a little, let's try it with it. Now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 8 layers of fabric here. And I'm going to look for a straight edge here. It's my salvage, and here's my folded edge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my edge of my ruler, and I want to make sure it's even on the bottom too. And this is the way that I'm going to get a nice straight edge, a nice straight cut. And I'll try it first with a smaller ruler, the smaller cutter, the smaller rotary cutter, and see what kind of a, see if it's going to go through. And again, I go straight through. Look at that. All 8 layers all at one time. And see how simple? And then don't forget to close your blade when you're through. Now I will try this again with the larger blade. And you can't feel this. I can feel it, but you can see what I'm doing. Again, you're just going to tap it. And you can do that as you're sewing, but you do not have to hold this little button down. And now I'm going to just go straight forward and click it closed. And look at how beautifully. I would say, quite frankly, that I think I would use the bigger one on doing this particular fabric because it just seemed to be a little bit easier for me. But that straight cut is so important. And another thing that's really important, you see these black handles on there? They're kind of a soft resin, and they give you a little comfort zone. The reason that this is straight is that this is balanced for the weight. So when you first pick this up, you think, oh gosh, it's heavy. I can't tell you how much you will love this once you start using it because it's balanced and it keeps your hand going straight rather than like this. See the difference? You're going straight and not like this. And that's true on the big one too. See the same thing? You're not going like this. You're going straight and getting a perfect cut. Now let's take the denim and let's try and find a nice straight cut on this edge. This happens to be a piece of fabric that was used from a piece of a garment that I think I was using. And I'm going to take the nice straight edge on the fold down here and kind of approximately get it right up here. It looks like it's pretty straight at this point. And I can see that this smaller rotary cutter, it will work, but I really want to be able to use this because I think it's heavy and it's going to give me a nice smooth cut. It's absolutely wonderful. Every time I show this, I love it because you've got that beautiful, beautiful edge. The last thing that I want to show you because I think this is really important. Let's get rid of all these scraps. We don't need them. How easy it is to change your rotary blade. Are you like me, maybe, some of you, where the reason the old blades never got changed because they were hard to do? Well, this is probably the easiest thing you'll ever see in your entire life. See this little lever on the back side? All I have to do is click that down, click it down, take this off, and now I can go ahead and change my blade. I just take the replacement blade. This is for the big one. There's ones for the small ones too. So now all I have to do is take this and go in. Look at there. And it is now, I'm just going to shut that little blade again, push it up, and now everything is done and ready to go. I'm going to click that because I can see it wasn't closed. So all you need is one rotary cutter. It takes forever for the blade to get dull, but you know when you're going to find that it gets dull? Right, when you're in the middle of a project, the stores are closed and you don't have the replacement blade. There's a couple of them that come in one pack, so I would always buy the cutter, and then I would buy the blade too. I hope this has helped you and given you just a little bit of tip how to use these wonderful rulers. Thank you, Alex Anderson. She is the inventor of this. I'm sure she's had some help with the wonderful Floriani people, but we are loving her mats, her quilts, I mean her rulers, which I know most of you have. And I thought it would be really important to show you what a key thing this is to use the right rotary cutter. Give it a try. Thanks so much, everyone. Hope to see you soon.